few more than just me turning up, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. So I have here a very, very, very old portfolio. So old that it's probably 40 years old. Yeah, probably about 40 years old. And in here are artworks that I did when I was a kid. Now, most people you'd expect to show you stuff they did when they were a kid that looks like matchstick men. But I'm quite proud of what I did back then, and the sad thing is that when I left school, I didn't really do anything more. So I haven't looked at this in decades, and I thought I did a little sketch earlier, and I thought, well, why not get this out? And more importantly, why not share it with some people? So that's what I'm going to do. So let's have a look. First thing I want to do is take everything out, because otherwise I can't see the screen. And there's masses in here, but we'll whip through, don't worry. I won't keep you all here for hours. Let's just close this down. And put it back. Okay. So, hey Lee, I'm glad somebody's shown up. So the first thing I want to show you is this piece, which is a sketch I did of Jesse Owens, the American Olympian, from, I believe it was 1938, in either Berlin or Munich. So this one was 1983. So in 1983, I think I was 15 or 16, I forget now. So that's the kind of stuff that that I was doing back then. Let's pop this over here. 1982, so I was still at school when I did this one. This is a scraper board of a cat, I guess, a wild cat. And so yeah, you sort of, this is shellac, I think, and you scrape it away with a knife. This is interesting. So I don't know that you can pick this up very well, but essentially this was actually quite a large car, which was somebody asked me if that they were into model cars and making you know, proper remote control cars for races, and somebody knew through an uncle of mine that I could do artwork, and they said, oh, would you mind painting my car? So you can't really get an idea of scale, but obviously what I did was, there's like a kind of helicopter on the top, and sort of a beach buggy kind of thing down there, and then a tank. But it's all done with airbrush. It's quite detailed stuff. A couple of animals, elephant and a gazelle, and then a very early self-portrait, minus the beard. And then we get into, I loved sci-fi stuff. I was heavily influenced by 2000 AD and all those kinds of comics. So that's, I don't know what that is, to be fair, some kind of Centurion thing. This was actually an ornament of my mum's, which you can see is a horse, and that's 1981. So I would have been about 14 or 15, I think, when I did that. Yeah. You know, the sad thing is, as I say, this is stuff that this was, I think I was about 17 when I did this one. This is stuff that it's just been left to sit in in the loft. I just don't do stuff anymore. And kind of Valhalla-esque. I did one of the things that I did do when I left school was I did artwork for computer graphics and for cassette inlays and that kind of thing. This was around that time, so yeah, I was about 16, I guess, when I did this. This a bit later, 85, so I guess sort of bent and creased, but it's a huge piece of work, as you can see, all pencil. It's sort of a kind of, I don't know, apocalyptic thing, and you can't really see it very well, but there's a, if I bend it back, there you go. You can see it's kind of soldiers sort of in the sand, and it says London up here and stuff. But that was 1985, so I guess I was about 18 then. Another little sci-fi piece. And then this is actual artwork that I did. I'm getting onto artwork that I did now for computer graphics, computer games. So we're talking what, Commodore 64, that kind of thing. So a lot of airbrush work, and obviously you didn't need to do a huge amount of detail because they would be shrunk, down to that kind of size. So it was more about the colour and the impact on that one. That was 85. And this was a game, so Insanity, which again 84, that one. I don't know why this is reversed. I didn't realise before. Hang on a second. There you go. That's better. Yeah, so Insanity, as it says. This was another. So this was a. Interestingly enough, this actually has the name of the game developer, Forks Computing. So you could probably Google that. I've never done that actually. I'd love to actually come across this artwork. Fun Fair Adventure, and I'm guessing this was probably ZX81, something like that, ZX Spectrum, I'm not sure. Oh, it actually says here, for the 16K Aquarius. I have no idea what an Aquarius was. How weird. Ex-girlfriend, many years ago. And then some more weird stuff. I used to just love doing these kind of weird, trippy designs. My daughter does a lot of that stuff now. There you go, Sinclair ZX81 actually says that at the bottom for this one. So the art, the text and so on would have gone at the top there. And then obviously the rest of it was used as artwork. I think that was a sketch for a competition I did for Blue Peter. And then back into I love this, doing this kind of stuff. So this was, I guess, an old Wild West saloon thing. They're kind of playing cards and stuff there. You can just about see that. So another detail. So on the side of the car as well, look, I did like a Spitfire. And hey Chase, thanks for popping in, man. I'm just showing off some artwork that I did when I was a kid, which has never seen the light of day since. So there's Calamity Jane. So a lot of this stuff I did, I was very, very young. I mean, I was probably about, I get about 15 years old, I guess. And it was all this, yes, everything you're seeing is all my stuff here, Raf. And I was just saying, this is all stuff I did when I was young, and it's a real shame because it just never gets. I mean, I stopped after I left school, and I've never done it since. And every so often, every couple of decades or more, I get some old Judge Dredd stuff. I get this out and just sort of think, oh, I really should go back and do something, but I've just never had the desire. I did that little mouse thing earlier, but it's rare. It's rare for me to do stuff now. And what is quite interesting though is there are these little bits and pieces, that artwork that I did for game cassettes back in the 80s. Some more of this stuff. I'm going to whip through it because a lot of this isn't that particularly amazing. It just gives you a bit of a feel for what I was kind of doing. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else of any great merit in there. It's a load of old bits and pieces. But yeah, some of the earlier stuff that I was showing Lee, which is some of my more stuff that I'm proudest of, I guess. Big pieces like this, that huge amounts of pencil work, and sort of apocalyptic stuff. It's and things like this, which is I would have been, I would have used something as a source material. I mean, I'm not good enough to have done that completely from memory. This one is was an ornament. My mum had an ornament, and it was made out of china or something. So I sketched it up. This was an early self-portrait, yours truly, without the beard. And then, as I was saying, this guy asked me to paint a remote control car. He was into racing them, so I airbrushed a helicopter, and it's like a beach, like an American flag beach buggy tank. On the other side, there's like a Spitfire, and then this was like a scratch board thing. So the idea is that you only reveal the sort of the light coloured aspects of the subject. And then it's one of my favourite pieces. So this was Jesse Owen, the American Olympian. I think it was 1938, wasn't it? The Olympics in Germany, where Hitler was sort of walked out when Jesse Owen won. That's a lovely piece. I love that. The shading on that. So that was kind of a little trip down memory lane there, just to kind of, I thought I'd share it with you, because nobody ever sees this but me. And there's like this 14 to 17-year-old version of me that's really proud of this stuff, but never gets to share it. So I thought you might find that interesting, guys. So thank you very much for indulging me. As I say, it's just a thing that I never took any further. I wish I did, but I guess it kind of comes out in a lot of my work in any case, and it's all good. Anyway, thank you for that, and have a fantastic rest of your evenings. Okay, cheers, guys.